Hello lovely people, how are we doing? And in this video we are going to uncover Decipher, lost 33-degree, top level secrets of the Kabbalah, how the Kabbalah, the Sephirot tree of the Kabbalah is really read, what it really means. You won't find this anywhere because the secret's been lost. Even the Jews have forgotten this secret. They themselves, wise as they are, have forgotten the secrets of the Kabbalah. We're going to interpret it and prove why it was interpreted that way. It's a kind of solar system. We're going to see how it can be read. And we're going to use this to decipher what's going on at Giza, because the plan in the Kabbalah, the Sephirot tree, is the same thing as what's happening in Giza. They both incorporate all the knowledge of the world, and they both look so similar. Not a coincidence. And of course, in a previous video, we looked at how it looks so innocent. We just have a few simple causeways, but wait, they're pointing in different directions. What's going on? We solve the mystery, and we can start to see that this is actually very similar to what's going on at Teotihuacan in Mexico. And this relates to a worldwide pyramid mountain worshipping religion where people are sort of transfigured by the pyramid, and they change and they acquire an act. We'll get to that in another video. Also points to death, to Halloween, entrance to the temple, the temples of Giza in the center. So good. We looked at the alchemy of Giza, why these are three intellectual principles. What they've done here is they've taken a substance and they've separated it into three intellectual principles. The empty body, the bar, or the soul, which goes to the place of death, the Sphinx. And also we have the ka, the fire, the energy. Fascinating. And we examined how this is actually alchemy, and how alchemy is a descendant of the Stone Age worldwide pyramid religion. So exciting. There's the Khufu, Ka, the sun, the fire, the bar, the Khafre, the moon, and they even look like pyramids, pointy, the triangle, points. You see, the alchemy religion, this is from 1624, is the Giza religion, essentially, from ancient times surviving in Europe. And now we're going to talk about the Kabbalah. And the Kabbalah is the whole Kabbalah is basically, you know Hebrew and you start to read secret codes into the Bible and you understand it differently. And that's what they say it is. But look, it's a lot more than that. And the Jews themselves have forgotten. The Jewish people have forgotten what Kabbalah is. But we're going to rediscover this ancient 4,000-year-old knowledge and show why the Kabbalah tree looks like this. I know exactly why it looks like this. It's due to the way the solar system is laid out. This is the solar system represented in two different ways in the one representation, which is just genius how they did it. And we'll see this also relates to what's happening at Giza. We have the three central pyramids. Here's the Sphinx, the three central pyramids, and then the three pyramids on each side. So we have three subsidiary pyramids. So there's three pyramids there, there's three pyramids there, and then there's three central pyramids, and then the Sphinx down there, and there's the stem. And this is just the Kabbalah Sephirot plan. This is called the Sephirot. So here is what it looks like. As you see, these are round like planets, and people don't know that this is a solar system. No one knows this, but that is exactly what it is. You have the 9 planets plus 1. It's really interesting. Let's get into it. Now, here is something I found online. It's not my slide, but I found it, and this is a translation of what the Kabbalah supposedly is. And what they think the Kabbalah is it's the 10 emanations of God, which are continually being manifested in the universe, which help to sustain the universe. So we have the crown. Up here above the crown we have God. And people have related this to the chakra system, and they've placed a human body behind it. That's possibility. So we have wisdom, kindness, eternity, splendor, judgment, understanding, and kingdom. In other words, to summarize, Buddhism, which is based on empathy and understanding. So this is the Western version. This ancient religion must have been over across Eurasia. Now, if we look up what Sephirot actually is, I'm going to read this to you. And let's do an experiment. I'm going to read this to you, and at the end of it, you tell me what it means, okay? And we're going to see that there's some deception going on. So I'm going to read this now, and we're going to examine the deception. And we're going to see that not all the information was told to the lower initiates. And this is only lower initiate information. We're going to get to the higher knowledge in this video. So, the Sephirot, also called the Zephirot, the Sephirah, Ra, see, Ra, Egyptian, are the 10 emanations and attributes of God with which he continually sustains the existence of the universe. The Zohar and other Kabbalistic texts elaborate on the emergence of the Sephiroth from a state of concealed potential in the Ein Sof until their manifestation in a mundane world. In particular, Moses ben Jacob Cordovero, this is Cordova, this is in Spain, a centre of astronomy astrology, known as the, and that's a clue, known as the Ramak, describes how God emanated the myriad details of finite reality out of the absolute unity of divine light via the 10 Sephiroth or vessels. Comparison to Ramak's counting with Luria's describes the dual, rational and unconscious aspects of Kabbalah. Two metaphors are used to describe the Sephiroth. Now I'll just pause here. Are you getting anything out of this? I'll ask that again at the end. The theocentric manifestation of the trees of life and knowledge, their anthropocentric correspondence in man, exemplified as Adam Kadmon. That's basically a version of Vitruvian man. This dual directional perspective embodies the cyclical, inclusive nature of the divine flow, where alternate divine and human perceptives have validity. The central metaphor of man allows human understanding of the Sephiroth as they correspond to the psychological faculties of the soul and incorporate masculine and feminine aspects after Genesis 1.27. God created man in his own image, the image of God. He created him male and female. He created them corresponding. And it goes on. Downward flow of divine light in creation forms the supernal four worlds, manifesting their dominance of successive Sephiroth towards action in this world. Now look, I can go on, but do you see what's happening? What do you observe is happening to you as you read this? I'll tell you what's happening. I am getting nothing out of this, nothing out of reading this. This is not a full understanding of the tree of life. This person who wrote this, the people who compiled this information, don't themselves understand what this is, and that is what I am getting out of all that gobbledygook and trash. That is not the origin of the Sephiroth. So, the names of the Sephiroth, we've covered those: the crown, wisdom, understanding, kindness, discipline, beauty, victory, splendor, foundation, kingship. Now, that means very little to us at the moment. So, I decided to plug the planets into the Sephiroth to see what's going on. And what we actually have is something very interesting. We have a number of different planetary codes in the Sephiroth. So we start from the sun, which is closest to us, and we go further away, and God is up here in the Sephiroth. So we have Sol, Mercury, and the thing is, it fits. Now, and we can see correspondences. So Earth and Venus are the same size, so they're on the same plane here. Jupiter and Saturn are the same size, so they're on the same plane here. Uranus and Neptune are on the same size, they're on the same plane up here. And we're starting to see, so they seem to have known about the size ratios of the planets. So this Sephiroth has incorporated this information because they had very good telescopes in ancient times, which have not survived to the present day. In addition, something very weird is happening because we can number the Giza pyramids 1 to 10 as well. So these are actually planets. These are supposed to represent planets, mountains, planets. Now there are many other, there are 10 pyramids basically if we count the Kenkoa's pyramid, which is there, or we count that pyramid also as the Sphinx instead, and we forget about Kenkoa's and we just count the Sphinx. So why does this look so much like the Sephiroth? Why are there 3 in the middle and you can draw lines through them and there's 3 flanking on the outside on each side? Why that? What's going on? So we continue, and what I decided to do is, instead of that heliocentric model, I thought, well, why not the geocentric model of Ptolemy? And in the geocentric model, we only have Earth, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, fixed stars, and prime and mobile, and that exact number fits into the Sephiroth. And you look up this in the article on the Sephiroth, you don't find a thing. What you find is, what I'm going to do, this is an article on just the Sephiroth itself, and I look up planet, right? And there is only one of one planet. It says each double is attributed to a soft and hard sound, positive and negative meaning, direction, planet, gate of the soul, color, angels, and vowel. That's it. So there is a hint that this is about planets, but honestly, not too much. So there we go. So, and now that we see this, we can start to see some very interesting things that are occurring. We can start to see how astrology has helped to influence this and to build this tree of life the way it's supposed to look. This is unknown. The Jews don't know this about their own science, about their own Sephirot, which is quite remarkable that this hasn't survived, but this is exactly what's going on. We have the Earth, we have the moon closest to the Earth, and then the planets going outwards from the Earth until you get to God up the top. Let's continue. So it's actually this is actually geocentric and heliocentric at the same time, and it incorporates both theories in the one Sephirot. So what you have is the sun in the center, but you also have the heliocentric system. So this is a really good representation. And now we start to see astrology, because we start to see the 60-degree trines. So 60, 120, 180 degrees. And these are beneficial. These are good when you're at 60 degrees. But we also have the capacity for 90-degree trines here. And those are bad, or we could use those as 90-degree squares. So when planets are at 90 degrees, it's bad. When they're at 60 degrees in astrology, it's good. Good for the planet, good for the Earth. And these people seem to have been aware that you can have a sun in the middle. It's in the middle of the whole system and the planets around it. And so what we can now do is we can actually layer the planets, give them different values, and we can see how they're aligned in relation to the sun. So this incorporates all the knowledge of astrology in the Sephirot. And the people who study the Kabbalah, they're literally only interested in the words and the numerology and the language. They know nothing of this. But if you try to put yourself into the perspective of the people who designed the Sephirot, they were astronomers. They were astrologers. This was their world. And the people who, I don't know, has the human race degenerated? Have we just become, why have we become so specific in our fields and not seeing the whole big picture? I just don't know what's happened to humanity since the Stone Ages. It's gone downhill. And people are only seeing one thing and not the whole thing. It's like with particle physics in the previous video. They see one thing and not the whole thing. Very bad. And so it incorporates square and trine astrological possibilities. Another thing that you can really do, if you know astrology, you'll see this is absolutely astrology, because you will know that, say, Venus and Jupiter together in alignments are always a good thing, whereas Mercury and Mars in alignments are a bad thing. So we have the good and the bad incorporate. We also have the capacity to show alignments with other planets in the background by having extra lines going towards them in alignment with, say, these two planets in a square with the sun, or these two planets would be in this planet in a trine with the sun. We can draw lines in here to show exactly everything in the solar system being aligned in a certain way. This is astrology, and I think anyone who knows astrology would agree with me about this. And in addition, another thing I've noticed is there's a Eurasian concept of 7 heavens, and I noticed you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's perfect for the Kabbalah, and the Kabbalists, they don't know this either, because they're not interested. They're not too interested in world mythology. They're just looking at this one thing. They're again not looking at the bigger picture, black and white thinking. And these are the 7 levels. So the concept, the idea, I'm in the 7th heaven, it comes from these 7 heavens. And you have the throne of the Lord at the top. So absolutely, the Kabbalah is attempting to show the 7 heavens. Now, just getting back to Giza, what we have is very interesting, because we have planets here, planets in the middle, and the 3 planets in the middle, and then something down here which represents Earth, possibly Kankawas or something else. So Giza has been programmed based on Kabbalah. Kabbalah and the Sephirot tree go all the way back, and this is the tree of life. This is the tree of Eden. This is the flowing water. Is this once the location of Eden, surrounded by the waters of creation? The flood went right up to this plateau, surrounded by water. It's the tree of life. It's the tree of Eden. It's the planets of the solar system. We know people such as Stacini, they did their calculations all their life to show that the pyramid represents the Earth. We know ancient legends that the pyramid represents the Earth. And now we're seeing how the Sephirot tree shows us that these actually correspond to planets. I don't know the layout of the numbers, which planet, which pyramid is which planet, because as you see, they're skewed differently in a mathematical way away from what is shown at the Sephiroth, but in the same kind of order. Damn, this is so interesting, don't you think? And we're just touching it. We're just touching the cusp of one of the things that is incorporated in the Sephiroth tree, the planetary, geocentric, and heliocentric systems. Hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a blast. We're just pumping them out. This is taking over my life. I cannot do anything else.